Maddie Genka. So, most everyone in here has probably had a job or two in their lives where communication played a key role. But what exactly is that? Today you'll find the answers to what communication is, why it's needed, and the positive effects. So, with a show of hands, has anyone in here ever power struggled, distrusted, or simply disagreed with a coworker or manager? Excellent. So, with that particular problem in mind, you can obviously think that with communication that it was solved effectively. And to fully understand how communication can affect our workers, we first must know what communication is and why it's needed. The Merriam-Webster states that communication is the process by which information is exchanged between individuals through common systems of simple signs and behaviors, such as verbals and nonverbals. Oftentimes, communication can look like talking on the phone, texting your friends, or being on social media sites. But there's just one more thing to communication. It's not just about communicating with one another, but it's having good communication. Allison Doyle from The Balanced Careers explains that listening is the top priority of being a good communicator. And through active listening, you can better understand what the other person is trying to say and can respond appropriately. Allison also said that friendliness is a part of being a good communicator. She says being friendly can make the recipient feel more appreciated. These two out of many skills in mind can make a good speaker, and it plays a part why communication is needed for a thriving environment. From Floyd's book, he expresses that communication is needed for 5 aspects of our daily lives. Those being for physical and practical needs, to relational, spiritual, and individual needs. In a workplace, I weigh a heavy need for relational communication. I've found that building strong relationships installs a better, more efficient, productive team. And to tie this together, with use of being friendly and an active listener, it's possible to create a great relational communication. So while working for a team and having strong relationships, the great communication can lead to staff building trust and accountability within each other. Those two factors, trust and accountability, are what better their team and make it more efficient when they work. Moving past the relational need for communication, communication is needed for a basic productive day, seen by both the new manager and the new worker. I'm constantly conversing with staff on the daily tasks, and I would hope that if they ever had any questions or did not understand, that they would communicate with me as well. Communication is also needed for routine work, making the schedule, knowing the reasons for tardiness, and without communication, it is impossible to efficiently work, let alone work as a team. When this occurs, the team gets stuck in the Tuckman's model of group development in the stage of Tuckman's model of group development, which is called the storming stage. And the Tuckman model has 5 stages. As seen on here, we have the forming, the storming, the norming, the performing, and the mourning. We first start with the forming, when we get to know one another, but then most teams get stuck in the storming. And the storming model is where you don't communicate, you have lots of conflict, lots of trust, and this is a stage where many teams fail. As you can see, if you get stuck in the storming stage, it is impossible to go forward, but you most times don't go backward because you can't form a team, but you get stuck in the storming stage, most likely leading to never getting to the performing stage, where you make the most progress. And now that I've established the need for communication and what happens without it, let's examine the positive effects of oral communication. With communication that is clear about what the manager expects, the Fraser-Sherman from Cron expressed, if workers understand their duties and responsibilities, everything flows more smoothly. Personally, I found this aspect to be true. While working for Ginny John's, I have found that when employees don't know what they're doing, they're most likely standing around doing nothing, waiting to be told on what to do. With good communication, they'll know what to do, which also leads to less conflict like we discussed earlier. With less conflict on understanding the job, Patrick Bathwords of Leadership Choice states that one of the most powerful benefits of better communication in the workplace is more employee engagement. He concluded with summarizing that companies' objectives and goals are better established, making the positive effects endless. At last, knowing what communication is, the need, and what good communication looks like, such as listening or friendliness, acknowledging what would happen without it, and the positive effects of communication, I have showed you that communication is the key to a career.